Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sisha for Unity Engine Beginner to Pro series. In today's episode, we are diving into one of the most important and powerful tools in programming, loops. Whether you want to spawn enemies, count score, update UI, or manage inventory, loops are everywhere in game development. We will cover what loops are, why they matter, and how to use them with proper examples. We will be learning about all four types of loops, and those are for loop, for each, while, and do while loop. With each loop, I will not only explain the syntax but also walk you through practical Unity specific examples line by line. So, watch till end. This will be a game changer video. Okay, now let's jump right in. First, let's understand what are loops and why use them. Let's first create a quick script and I will name this loops ex. Okay, let's open the script. Okay, yeah. So imagine needing to repeat an action 100 times, like spawning 100 enemies. You could write a code 100 times, or you could write it once and loop it 100 times. That's the power of loops. Write less, do more. Let's understand the power of loop with simple example, and then we will dive deeper in each and every looping statement. Okay, so here I want to print the number 1 to 5 to the Unity console. In this case, without using loop, what I will do, I will write debug.log 1, debug.log 2, and like this 5 times. Okay, let me show you quickly. Like debug.log, and here 1, debug.log 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's also print fifth one, debug.log 5. Okay, as you can see, for just printing 5 statements, I wrote 5 lines. Let's also see the output. For 5 lines, it was easy to type. Okay, let me just remove this decision and attach our script to another game object. Okay, let's name this loops. And here, we will just attach our loop here. It takes a lot of time. Okay, I will pause the video. Okay, let it be. Okay, so as you can see, we have got our output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so but what if now I want to print till 1 to 100? Should I write debug.log 100 times? No. Here comes in our loops. With the help of loops, I can print these numbers just in 2 to 3 lines, even though I want to print number from 1 to 100 or 1 to 1000 or more. Let's see how I can do so with help of loops. Okay, let's remove our debug lines, and here inside void start, we will declare a for loop which we will initialize int I equal to 0, and we will check a condition where I is less than or equal to 5. Okay, equal to 5, and then we will give an updation or increment I plus plus, and here we will print at every iteration debug log I. Okay, so now what this loop is doing, this loop will iterate 5 times, and till the condition is true, it will print debug.log I. I means a number, like what iteration is going on. So let's see what happens now. Yeah, so as you can see, it printed from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and what if I want to print like 100 times? Okay, I will just change the condition where I will put instead of 500, and this will iterate 100 times and print the text 100 times. So let's see what happens now. And don't worry about these lines we just wrote. We will break them down further in this video. But currently we are looking at the power of loops. As you can see, we have got our output 100 times. See, till 100. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Now we will move on to our first looping statement, which is for loop. A for loop is a looping statement that allows code to be executed repeatedly based on a condition. And when condition evaluates to false, the loop gets terminated. Let's understand the syntax of for loop and then move on to some practical examples. Okay, let me just remove these lines first. For if you don't know what a syntax is, just make sure to watch our previous video where I explained you what a syntax is. Initialization, condition, and increment decrement. Yeah, or we can also name it updation. Okay, and here code. Okay, so this is general syntax of for loop. Let's break it down. First here we use for. It is a keyword which is used in order to declare a for loop. Here initialization. This part is executed only once at the beginning. Here we usually declare and initialize a variable which will control iteration of our loop. If you don't know about variable declaration and initialization, check out our video on variables. You will understand about it. Here condition. Condition is Boolean expression. Okay, that is checked before each iteration. If the condition evaluates to true, the loop continues, and if it evaluates to false, the loop stops. Now, let's move on to increment, decrement, or updation. Okay, so this part updates the variable which we declared inside our loop after every iteration. Okay, so I hope so you understood the syntax. Now, let's see about unity specific examples for loop. Okay, so now we will declare one public variable which will be game object type, and we will name it like object to spawn. Okay, let's declare this as a global variable. Again, if you don't know about global, local variables and scope of variables, just make sure to watch our videos, previous videos. Inside here, what we will do, for int I is equal to 0, I less than equal to or less than 5, and updation I plus plus. Inside here, we will write vector. Don't worry about these lines, I will just explain it. Let me write first spawn position. Just a second. Spawn position equal to new vector 3, and here we will put our variable which we initialized in our for loop into 2.0f, comma, yeah, 0.0f and 0.0f. Don't worry, I will just explain it. After that, we will instantiate object spawn, comma, spawn position, comma, quaternion dot identity. Yeah, let's. I made a spelling mistake here. Okay, yeah. So now here, what's happening is here we declared a public game object to spawn. Okay, this is a game object type of variable. So game object is a class in Unity engine namespace that represents any object in your Unity scene. Here For you know about void start. If you don't know, just make sure to watch our previous videos. Okay. So here for int I equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus. So here this is our for loop which will repeat 5 times. Okay. Here we initialize I equal to 0, means it will start from 0 index and it will go till I is less than 5, and it will always increment our I at every iteration. Like it will increment 0 to 1, and after second iteration it will go to 2 and then 3, like this. Here vector 3 spawn position new vector 3 I into 2.0f, this line. Okay, this line here creates a new position in 3D space for each span object. Here I into 2.0f means the object will be spaced 2 units apart along to the x-axis. Okay, here vector 3. Now let's understand vector 3. What is vector 3? Okay, vector 3 is a structure from Unity engine namespace that represents a point or direction in a 3D space like x, y, and z. And for 2D space, we use vector 2. So what we have done here inside for loop, we initialized a variable of vector 3 type and stored new vector 3 position inside it. And here, now let's understand this line. So instantiate object to spawn position quaternion dot identity. This line spans or creates a copy of object to spawn at the position spawn location. Okay, instantiate is here instantiate. So this instantiate is a method in Unity Engine object class which is used to create copies of game object at runtime. And here quaternion dot identity, this is a property from quaternion structure that makes sure no rotation is applied while spawning the object. Okay, so don't worry about this concept because these are advanced concepts, but I want to make sure that you understand little bit of those, because further I will be teaching these topics and I want a little glimpse or little idea for you about these topics. Okay, that's the reason why I'm explaining these topics. Yeah, so now let's test this script out in our Unity. Yeah, so here as you can see we have got our object spawn like field, and here we will just create another cube or something to spawn, and we will name this like enemy. Okay, so let me first delete these our previous game objects which will not be used. Okay, so let's attach our cube here. Okay, so now as I will hit play, objects will get spawned. Okay, as you can see inside our game there are now 1 2 3 4 5 total 5 game objects spawned. And you will be thinking like why there are not 5 objects inside our scene view. So as I told you, instantiate. Okay, instantiate spans the objects game objects at runtime. So that's the reason why we are not seeing any game object inside like our scene view. Okay, but inside our game view we can see we have 5 game objects. Okay, all right, I hope so you understood about for loop. If you guys have any doubts, just comment it. And now we will move on to our next loop, which is for each loop. Yeah, what is for each loop? For each loop is used to iterate through each element in a collection like array or list. For each loop is useful when you don't need to modify the collection itself. Just go through the element, maybe use their values. Let me first create a script and then we will understand the syntax. For each loop. Let's open the script. In Unity, for each is great when you are looping through all enemies in a list to apply some effects or playing animation or sound on every item in group. But usually we don't make use of for each loop much in Unity. Now let's understand the syntax of for each loop and then we will move on to some Unity specific examples. Let me write the syntax first and then I will explain you. For each, yeah. So here for each, this. is a keyword which tells compiler or Unity that I want to loop through every item in a collection. Guys, if you don't know about collections like array or list, don't worry. These are some advanced topics, and again, we will be covering these topics in our upcoming videos. Here, where item in collection. This whole thing is called as loop declaration. Let's break this down. Here, where this is type of interface keyword. It means let the compiler figure out the type of item based on what's in the collection. For example, if the collection is of int type, item will be treated as int. If it contains game object, item will be of a game object type. Here, item, this is the temporary variable that holds the current element during the loop cycle. You can name it whatever you want, but item is commonly used. Here in this keyword, this is a keyword that connects the item with collection. It's like get each item from this collection one at a time. Here, this collection, this is the list of array or group you are looping through. It can be an array or uh, list of array collections. Okay, like list of collections. And here, these brackets. This is the body of loop. Every time inside these braces, everything whichever written in these braces will be run once per item in collection. All right. Now we will see one example of for each loop. Unity specific example of for each loop. So here, what we will do, we will find the game object with the tags, and we will like disable them or just print their names. Okay. So in first we declare void start. And here, let's remove this line. Okay. Yeah. So now here, we will declare a game object type of variable array. Okay. Yeah. Game object array. We will name this enemies equal to like game. Sorry, game object dot find game object with tag enemy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we declare for each loop. We are like we declared a variable game object type of enemy. Like sorry, enemy variable which is of game object type, and in enemies. Okay. Wait a minute. I will explain you the code. Just let me write first. So yeah, here what we will do, we will just okay debug dot log. First we will debug and print enemy names, and after that we will just disable the game object in the scene. Okay, the game view. So here what's happening is we are collecting all the game objects with tag enemy on this line, and for each loop here, for each loop like iterates or goes through each one automatically without us having to count or use index values. Okay, so uh, let me explain you in more depth, like you will get the concept. Okay, here this is an array, okay, which is of game object types, and we like named that array enemies. And here what we are doing, we are like finding the game object with the tag enemy. Okay, and this tags like all we will attach these, or we will just like tag all the enemies with the enemy tag, and when we hit play, all the enemies like whichever object have enemy tag. Okay, we'll just like iterate using for loop, and for every enemy tagged game object, these their names will get printed. Okay, so let's see this script in action. So let's first disable our loops game object and create one more for each loop. Okay, here we will attach our script, and now we will duplicate our cube. Okay, here is our cube, and we will just duplicate this multiple times, and we will tag them all as an enemy. While dealing with tags, make sure our spellings of tags whichever we are declaring and our spellings in script both are same. Okay. Now let's assign the tag to all the cubes. Okay. So as you can see, there are different names for all the enemies. So we can just confirm that for each is working. So here you can see enemy 5, enemy 5, enemy 4, enemy 4. We have got all the names. Okay. Now what we will do, we will just disable the game object. Okay. Let's just separate them in order to see visually. Okay. So now instead of this debug.log, what I will do, we will say like enemy dot set active to false. Okay. Let this compile. Let's hit play. And as you can see, all our game objects which are tagged as an enemy got disabled. Okay. Yeah. So here, uh, I hope so you got the concept. And yeah, all right. I hope so you understand about for each loop. Now we will move on to while loop. What is while loop? A while loop keeps running a block of code as long as a condition is true. In Unity, it's used when you want to repeat something until a certain condition is met, especially in non-frame based logic. While loop is useful for coroutines, waiting for events, or looping over one non-frame based logic. Now, let's understand the syntax of while loop, then we will move on to one example. So let me create another script for while loop. Let's name this while loop. Let's open the script. Yeah. So let's understand the syntax first. While condition brackets open. Yeah. So here while is the keyword. Here while is the keyword which tells the compiler or Unity that I want to use while loop, and the condition inside the parenthesis is a boolean expression that must be true or false. As long as condition is true, the code inside the curly braces will keep running, and when the condition will evaluate to false, the loop will get terminated. So let's see an example of while loop. Here what we will do, we will declare an integer type of variable. We will name it count, and here we will initialize it as 0. Here inside start we will declare a while loop, and we will check a condition where count is equal to or less than 5. We will open the curly braces and print debug.log count plus count. Yeah. And then we will perform an updation, like we need to update the loop in order to terminate it, else it will just loop continuously loop count plus plus. Yeah. So here what's happening is we declared a int type of variable named count, and we initialize it at 0. Inside word start, whenever this block will get executed, here it will check a condition before executing this code. So here count is less than 5, so our count is currently 0, and it will like condition will evaluate to true, and the block inside these brackets will get executed, and every time this debug.log will get printed, the count will increase by 1. Okay, it will start from 0 and then it will go to 1 after this execution again, then it will go to 2 and so on. And at the point when our count will be like greater than 5, this loop will get terminated. So yeah, let's see what happens on the console. Let's attach our while loop to a game object. Let's name this while loop. Let's just disable all other game objects and etc. Let's attach our while loop here. Let's hit play. As you can see here, we got printed the debug lines like count 0, count 1, count 2, count 3, and count 4. Total 5. Okay. Now what we will do, we will just remove the updation and then try to execute it. And let's see what happens. And let's hit play. Let me pause the video. This is taking a lot of time. Okay, so as you can see, our editor got freeze. And this is what I was about to show you. So if you haven't provided any updation, our editor will get stuck. Okay, so it's really important in order to provide a updation in while loop. Now we will again provide updation. Let's save this and open Unity editor again. I think so we will need to restart this. So I will just quickly restart and show you what happens. Okay, so we have seen how the while loop works. It checks the condition first and only runs the block if the condition is true. And we have also checked that what will happen if you haven't provided any updation inside while loop. It will just stuck the whole editor window. But what if you want your code to run at least once, no matter what, and then check the condition. That's where the do while loop comes in. Let's understand the syntax of do while and then we will move on to an example. So let's open our while loop script. And here, let's first understand the syntax and then we will move on to an example. Do and while condition. Yeah, and semicolon. Here, do is the keyword which tells the compiler to start the running this code like without checking the condition first. Okay. Unlike while, this part doesn't check the condition yet. It just goes ahead and runs the code inside the curly braces of do. Okay. Do while loop will always run once, even if the condition is false. And here, while condition, after the block runs once, it checks this condition. Okay. When this do block will get executed, after that, the condition will be checked. And when this condition is false, then this loop will get terminated. But regardless of any condition, this do loop will do block will get executed before checking the condition. Okay, and don't forget to give semicolon after while condition. Okay, this is important, else it will throw compile time error. So let's quickly see an example of do while. Here, what we will do, we will just add a do loop here, do, and we will print debug dot log, and here we will just print inside do block. Okay, and yeah, and here what we will do, we will increment count plus plus. Okay, and we will remove this while block because it is not needed. Okay, so here what's happening is we have our count variable which is of int type. Inside do what we are doing, we are just printing a line, and then we are incrementing our count variable, and this step is important, else we will just get an infinite loop or our editor window will be stuck. Okay, here we are checking the condition inside while, that if our count is less than 5, then again go back to do, execute this code, and again come here and check the condition, and again if our count is less than 5, again go to do and run this code, and this process continues until our condition evaluates to false. Okay, yeah, so let's check the output. Let's enable our while loop again. As you can see, we are inside do block. Okay, and this message got printed 5 times. Okay, so now let's go to our Visual Studio again. Let's stop this. Yeah, so here what we will do, we will just increase our count to 10. Okay, now this condition is false directly. Okay, and if we hit play, you will be able to see that our do inside whatever inside this do is will just get executed one time without checking the condition. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's hit play, and here as you can see whatever inside our do, it got printed inside do block. Okay, so you have understood that how this works. Okay, okay, so now I know in your mind it's looping, that when to use which looping statement. Let's break that down. If you need an index or you want to find a fixed number of loops, like you want to iterate through a fixed number of loops, okay, you know that you want to loop this much time. Okay, so you can use for loop. If you want to loop through an collection like array or list, use for each loop. If you want to loop based on condition, use while loop. And finally, if you want to run the code at least once regardless of condition, then use do while loop. And yeah, this was our deep dive into loop in C# for Unity. We covered all the loops with proper example, and I hope so you got them. If this video helped you out, smash that like and subscribe button. Drop your questions in comment section, and please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss further important videos. And yeah, thank you for watching guys, and please make sure to subscribe and check the link in the description. There I have given a link to Play Store. I just uploaded one app on Play Store, game on Play Store, and it was just an prototype game. Like I want to test how to like upload games on Play Store, and I want to make a video on that topic in future. So that's the reason why I uploaded that game on Play Store. But yeah, let check it out once and give your feedback. Okay.